Ladies and gentlemen, there has been another interesting week of gaming news and gaming rumors, and it's like every time you think you're catching up to something, some other insane news comes out. And in this video today, we have the updates, the rumors, the leaks, the news, we have it all. And I think we're finally hitting that turning point in the Switch 2's life to where it's like, okay, everything on the horizon is looking pretty exciting. And that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. So forgive me, I missed a couple of days. As you can hear, I'm still a little sick. And just keep in mind, my next couple of videos are like so out of order. So maybe in a couple days I'll have a video coming out that sounds like I'm getting re-sick again or sicker. Just know that was filmed a few days ago. But in this video, man, very exciting stuff. And in case you missed it, I think Shigeru Miyamoto just talked about a new Nintendo Direct. Let's check it out. Yeah, there's probably gonna be a new Nintendo Direct very soon, so you guys just gotta calm down. Like, yeah, I get it. I know you guys all want the next 3D Mario, but honestly, Nintendo is working on a 4D Mario. Crazy stuff. Yeah, you heard it from Shigeru Miyamoto himself, man. I don't know what else to tell you guys. So before we get started, if you could, like and subscribe. It's so stupid. I'm blaming this on me being sick. Hit a like and subscribe. Follow Instagram and Twitter. We got to get into this video. So a few days ago, I predicted that on Mario Day, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book would get a release date. And that, in fact, did happen. And here's something actually crazier that I'm thinking about right now. I've been calling this game Yoshi and the Storybook for like 4 months. And I don't think a single person has corrected me. So I just keep saying Yoshi in the Storybook. It's called Yoshi in the Mysterious Book. Kind of crazy. I did not catch that until like the past 24 hours. This is actually one of my most anticipated games of the year. And I know it looks like kind of just a really interesting art style, but maybe just a fun 2D platformer, not anything groundbreaking. But here's something to keep in mind, right? And I know this is for a few different reasons. This game on Nintendo's website, I'm looking at it right now, is 20.6 gigabytes. That is a file size. To put this in perspective, I think Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2 is like 16 gigabytes. And I think on the Switch might have been like 21 or 22. So I'm not saying this game is going to have as much stuff as Tears of the Kingdom. But what I am saying is there's actually probably a lot going into this game. It's probably going to be full of surprises, and I cannot wait to play it. 20 gigabytes, that's a lot. In comparison to something like Pokemon Pokopia, which is only 8 gigabytes. Is that relevant? Well, kinda, because that's the game we're talking about now. So we finally have some official sales numbers, and Pokemon Pokopia has sold 2.2 million copies in 4 days. This article is a little old. It's probably like 5 days now, maybe 6 days, something like that. But regardless, over 2 million copies in less than a week. Number one, this game has officially become a system seller. I have seen so many people online saying, you know what? I bought into the hype. I bought a Switch 2 just to play Pokemon Pokopia, and it's living up to the hype. And I think that's just so cool. 2, we have to remember this is a game key card. Number 3, Super Mario Odyssey sold 2 million copies in a week for the Switch, after the Switch was out for like 8 months. Now, not only is this game doing incredibly well, it is changing stuff around at Nintendo. So much that Nintendo shares have jumped 18% the week after Pokemon Pokopia was released. That is crazy, because we have to remember, Nintendo stock was down like at an all-time low for the past 6 months. This really turned stuff around, and I know there's probably some other stuff in the background that also helped this, but man, I'm just so impressed with this game. Now, a game I've always wanted to play, and I've had multiple opportunities to play it, is Elden Ring. I bought it for my PS5 on a Black Friday sale, got intimidated, sold the game. Bought it last Black Friday again. It's still sealed in the front room by my PlayStation 5. I might play it there, because what was going on with the Switch 2 edition? We've heard nothing. That is until today. We have new gameplay for Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, and it looks awesome. So the footage I'm showing you right now is from GameSpot's YouTube channel. Shout out to them. I'm not one of those people who can tell like frame rates just from looking at a video. But what I can say is this is a night and day difference over when we first seen it, like I guess all the way back in the Switch 2 reveal direct, and then we also seen it at some hands-on events. So what I think is going on here, and it actually makes quite a bit of sense now. You know, we have heard nothing about the Dust Bloods in, I mean, again, since that Switch 2 reveal direct. And I think the reason is they didn't want to put out any information about that until Elden Ring, the Tarnished Edition, came out. And if I had to guess, I think this game is releasing in the next 60 days. Either we get a Nintendo Direct and they talk about it there, or maybe it's just a random announcement like, hey, this is releasing next week. But I think once this game does come out, and it definitely looks like it's ready to come out now, then I think they'll start talking about the Dustbloods. And I have a feeling that's going to be like a late 2026 release anyway. But this looks fantastic. So like I said, I have the PS5 version of this. Yes, that's the better version, but I just love playing stuff in handheld. Right now, I am playing Fallout 4 handheld on my Switch 2. And it's probably my favorite game, aside from Cyberpunk, I've played on my Switch 2 so far. It's just such a fun experience. So this is great news to finally see this. Now we all want a new Nintendo Direct, right? Because we want to know what games are coming out. And I think that's perfectly fine. Some people think we're all blowing this out of proportion, like, oh, the Switch 2 has no games. Oh, I want a Nintendo Direct. And people are saying like, why? Why are you acting like this? It's like, dude, I get that it has games. I'm buying a lot of games, but I still want to know what's happening this year. It's a part of being in this ecosystem, and it's one of my favorite parts. I know it's kind of annoying, but I just really enjoy those Nintendo Directs, right? I'm one of those people who like a wide range of games, and you learn about those in a Nintendo Direct. But what games are we going to see? Well, I don't know, but maybe we can kind of figure some of this out together. So recently, some code names, or I guess just codes, for games that were developed for the Switch 2 have leaked out. And some of these games we can match to other lists, so we can kind of fill in the gaps here, right? You see Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders, DK Bonanza, Mario Tennis Fever, Street Fighter 6, the GameCube stuff. We even see Pokemon Winds and Waves, Dragon X Drive, or better yet known as Wheelchair Basketball. Then we have this other list right here that kind of fills in even more of these. But then at the same time, if we go back to the first list, there's quite a bit of gaps there. And it's interesting because it's like, okay, we go DK Bonanza, something, Mario Tennis Fever. So what is that game between DK Bonanza and Mario Tennis Fever? I don't know. It's like maybe what? Maybe Yoshi in the storybook or mysterious book, whatever. Then we have Street Fighter 6, then a couple more gaps, a couple more gaps, a couple more gaps, a couple more gaps. So what I'm trying to say here is there is 11 codes for games developed on the Switch 2 that we do not know yet. And it's like, we could probably fill in a couple of these. But let's just say bare minimum 6 or 7 of these. Are we still doing 6, 7? I don't know. We have no idea. And these are games that could easily be shown off this year and be shown off in that next Nintendo Direct. I also forgot about Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, so that will fill in one spot. But at least a handful of these we still have no idea about. Very interesting stuff. So hopefully we could see some of these sooner than later. A lot of people are still saying they think a June Direct, which is possible. In my opinion, I still think it's coming way before that, maybe this month, April, May, something like that. And I'll be honest, I have no evidence aside from a couple of rumors, but you know, rumors are like, I was going to say something kind of messed up. Let's move on. Now, speaking of games that are in development for the Switch 2, what about Pokemon? And you might think, well, you're probably talking about Pokemon Winds and Waves. But that's what I'm actually not talking about. I'm talking about the next massive Pokemon games after that, because we have a look at that today. I think Game Freak is back, right? It took a decade to get back on track, whatever, what have you. I think they're back on track, man. Winds and Waves looks very promising. That's 2027. I'm talking about 2029. Dude, this looks crazy. So shout out to Central Leagues for breaking all this down. You know, they were the ones who broke down the Terra Leaks and the Giga Leaks and every Pokemon leak. So whenever they reveal stuff, it's like credible, factual stuff. The next evolution of Pokemon video games, remember, this is following Winds and Waves. Project Seed, a multi-region MMO, takes place in Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and Kitakami. All the regions will be interconnected in a single world. This sounds insane. Currently in pre-production at Game Freak, coming 2029 or later. And then they're showing some concept art here that looks so beautiful. And you have to remember, when we seen concept art of Winds and Waves, people are thinking, there's no way that's what it's going to look like. And then we know that's what it actually looks like. And some of this stuff, like this last photo right here, where it's like kind of like a beach city, this kind of looks like Vermilion City. Like that's the SSN right there. If this is some massive 3D open world Pokemon game where you can go to every single region, it's peak. That's all I can say. It's absolutely freaking peak. So aside from being this a Pokemon fan's dream, the Switch 2 is starting off slow, right? I don't even think you can argue that. Like, yeah, we got some cool games, but definitely not what they're capable of doing. But it is what it is. We'll eventually get there. But let's just say half a decade and 5 years into the Switch 2's life, I think it's going to easily be the best generation Nintendo's ever had. And, you know, this is what Pokemon is looking like we've seen Winds and Waves, and then this is a look into after Winds and Waves. Could you imagine the next 3D Zelda, and then the next 3D Mario, and then Kirby, and then maybe some Star Fox, and then Smash, and then just everything? It's like, we're eventually going to get there, and this is awesome. And then before we get out of here, I have one more leak for you, and this is for some Capcom games coming over to the Switch 2. And I know it's from Nashweedle, so you might say, whoa, what are you doing there? I'm still going to cover their stuff for fun, so if you don't like that, that is fair. But another reason I am covering this is because I've heard this and read this from multiple other places, and it actually just seems like something that will definitely happen. So they say, after all Capcom is doing with the Switch 2, it seems obvious, but they tell me, Onimusha, Way of the Sword is on the way to the Switch 2, along with a Musashi amiibo. And I'll be honest, I know nothing about this game. Like, the gameplay looks super fun, super awesome, all that good stuff. But this is Capcom, and they have like exclusive something with Nintendo. They got the first third-party amiibos. They got the first special Pro controller. So I could definitely see this happening. And this would be awesome, right? You're just seeing more and more these really cool games that you thought, maybe they could show up on the Switch 2, maybe not. More and more, they're showing up on the Switch 2. And it's just so fun. You know, like I said earlier, I'm playing Fallout 4. Yes, it's a 10-year-old game, but the fact that I'm able to play this portably on the go, like laying in bed and on the couch and dock to the TV, it is just such a great experience. Like, I've had so much fun playing games in the last 6 months. Yeah, maybe not the games that I'm expecting to play, but if there was a graph of how much fun I'm having on my Switch 2, that graph would be like all the way to the top, right? Maxed out fun. So it's just so cool to see all these games come over or potentially come over. And then it's like, if this is something that's actually going to happen, well, where would they announce that? Probably in a Nintendo Direct. So yeah, Nintendo, anytime, I'm ready. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. Please, I know this sounds ridiculous. I feel like Squidward or something. I probably sound like that too. Just bear with me a couple more days. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out. And consider becoming a channel member. That would be incredible. Just so cool. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.